Welcome to Quick Tips for Academic Service Learning. I'm Charles Ganzert, and our topic for this segment is using academic service learning in promotion and tenure. Our guest here to discuss this subject is Elizabeth Monsky, an assistant professor in the English department. Welcome, Liz. And to begin, I was going to ask, how have you been able to employ your academic service learning work and integrate it into your promotion and tenure presentation? How is that possible?
Well, currently I am working on my tenure and promotion document. So I've had a lot of time to reflect upon my different experiences as a teacher and as a scholar in the last 3 years. And with this document preparation, I've had to really examine how often ASL comes up in my time here at Northern and my time at my previous institution. So I've not only had it in my teaching experiences, but it's really started to make its way into my scholarship and my professional development.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, some examples would include my recent experiences at the College English Association conference and at another conference that I attended recently. And what I talked about with one of my colleagues at another institution was the idea of being at a rural university and trying to employ ASL in an electronic environment. So we talked about the challenges and the benefits of being in a distance ed course and being able to still participate in academic service learning activities. So we were able to share that information with others.
I know a lot of times when people think about academic service learning, they think that it's something you do in class. And what I'm hearing you say is that you are doing that in class, obviously, but maybe that's just the first step.
Well, I think it is in some respects. However, when students are able to go out into the community, whether it's local or in their home environment, if they don't live in the area that you're teaching your class in, especially in the electronic age here we have, I think it allows them to see the world differently instead of just the four walls.
Excellent. I know that if we look at some of the literature on academic service learning, people like Ed Zlotkowski talk about a holistic approach where academic service learning is sort of woven into the fabric of everything he does. Not only does it begin in the classroom, but maybe the information that he and the students have collected becomes part of a presentation somewhere. And that gets polished and becomes a publication about something that they've done. There are a lot of ways to do this. I know you're also on a variety of committees related to this subject.
Well, not only am I using it in my teaching, but I've been able to use it for my service. And because here at Northern we have the opportunity to have service as our emphasis, I've been able to participate in a couple of different committees like the ASL Advisory Board and the subcommittee for looking at and reviewing grants that the ASL Advisory Board gives to different faculty members who want to use ASL in their classes. So I've been able to use that. And with that, I've also been able to speak at the Breakfast with Bob series that we had in 2007 and talk about my teaching experiences and how I use it in my technical writing classes.
And all these things go in your tenure and promotion document. And one of the things we like to say about academic service learning is that it's appropriate for any discipline. And I know that you are speaking about it from the point of view of English, and I'm in mass media. But if I were a biologist, I'm sure we could come up with a hypothetical here that would serve well. For instance, if I were a chemist or a biologist and I was concerned about what's going on outdoors, I could look at the health of a stream. I could maybe take students out into the field. We could examine the pH, the chemistry of a stream. We could examine the wildlife existing in that stream. And that would be something for a class. But what you're doing there is you're collecting data that could be used for a number of different things. that could ultimately become part of a paper or a presentation somewhere easily. And at the same time, you could take the information that you've collected and you could go back to a class and say, look, here's what we know about our community. And it would inform your teaching in the second class, not the first class where you did the actual project. And the other thing you could do in this theoretical example of mine is you can make it a longitudinal experience. You know, what is the health of this stream over time, given, you know, things that are happening in our community with mining, for instance? Is the stream the same or is it different? Is it better or worse? So all of a sudden, you know, you could take a model like that in academic service learning, and you could make it work over time. All the activities we're describing could go into your tenure and promotion document, because the work you're doing in class, you know, reflects on your teaching, but the work you're doing as a paper or at a conference reflects on your scholarly activity. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Well, with the different courses that I've been teaching, I've started to notice patterns in what I do and the students who travel with me through different courses. And they want to carry through with the same ideas that we had and see how things have changed. In my 303, the last time I taught it, which is the first technical writing after the freshman comp sequence, we do a lot of manual writing for nonprofit organizations. And some of those students have volunteered for those organizations since. And then when we go into the 405 and we start grant writing, they want to continue working with those same projects. And so when we have that carryover, then I can see how these students have grown in their civic engagement, how they've grown in their reflection on how they are as a student, how they are going to be as a colleague in a work environment, how they negotiate with these people that they've learned and they're currently meeting. That's exciting for me to see their growth, because in a lot of cases we don't always get to see, you know, students in our classrooms growing that way. We see them for 16 weeks and then they're gone. But when we have the opportunity to continually see that cycle of using the same projects, then we can see their growth, and when we grow, because we find new ways to incorporate it. With the courses, you know, sometimes things don't always go the way that we want. And so as a teacher, we can then reflect and write about how can we make these experiences better. And one of my presentations in the winter was based on what could I have done differently. So.
Quickly, are there bits of advice that you would give to other professors in the university about you know, how to incorporate academic service learning into class or into your promotion and tenure package?
Well, I think when I first got here in 2007, the first thing I did was start asking questions. And what I loved about Northern was that we had the Center for Student Enrichment. That was a great resource to go to, and the graduate assistants were more than willing to help me find a place that my students could do some work in, especially since I was new to the area. I wasn't sure what was around. You know, going to the Center for Student Enrichment was a great place to start with. And, you know, a lot of the advice I'd have for scholarly work is start looking for for papers or proposals, and look at past programs and see what's around. Because a lot of people use service learning in their classes, they just don't call it that. And so it's important to kind of bring it back to the forefront that this is what we're doing. It's not uncommon. It's possible to do it in your classrooms. And so for the people around the area, I'd say go to the Center for Student Enrichment first.
Well, thank you. I think we've come to the end of our time, but I would like to thank you, Liz, for coming in to talk to us today. I'd also like to thank our viewers for their interest in academic service learning. If you would like more information about academic service learning at Northern Michigan University, please take a look at our website. It's www.nmu.edu/ASL. Or if you have specific questions, please feel free to contact me. My phone number is 227-1646 at the office. And there's also the Center for Student Enrichment, which you can call at 227-2439. Thank you very much.